Parliament is considering tougher laws that will see drug traffickers pay fines of up to 50 million shillings in addition to life imprisonment in what could just be the turning point in the war on drugs. Well, the proposals contained in the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill 2020 also targets law enforcement officers who collude with drug traffickers as well as the users of these illegal substances. Our Coast Region reporter Kevin Mutai breaks it down.
The country's transformation into a drug trafficking hub has been picking up. The amount of drugs coming into and through Kenya has been alarming. Parliament now hopes a stronger piece of legislation will give much needed muscle in the war on drugs. The proposed amendment bill on narcotics, drugs and psychotropic substance control is set for a third reading before the National Assembly's Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. It proposes stiff penalties for anyone involved in drug trafficking in the country. The amendments seek to introduce a fine of not less than 20 million shillings or life imprisonment for anyone found in possession of drugs between 1 and 5 grams. 51 and 100 grams attract a fine of not less than 30 million shillings or 3 times the market price of the drugs. Any consignment above 100 grams will earn you a fine of not less than 50 million shillings according to the bill.
Now we are coming for the barons by all means. We are going to intercept their communication, we are going to freeze their accounts, we are going to make sure that they are jailed, we are going to make sure that each and every person who will assist the barons will face the law.
The proposed law further proposes a fine of not less than 50 million shillings or a prison term of not less than 20 years for anyone who manufactures or transports the drugs. If the bill says through Parliament, drug users will also be slapped with a fine of not less than 20 million shillings or 10 years in prison. Those found smoking narcotic substances such as Bhang will also be fined 250,000 shillings.
Afisa yote wa polisi atakayesaidia mtu yoyote ambaye anauza dawa za kulevya, kwanza kabisa faini yake ni shilingi milioni 20 ama jela miaka 5. Afisa polisi. Huyo ni afisa wa polisi peke yake. Barons ni vile tumesema. Nikikushika na cocaine ya 6.4 billion kama ile tuliweza kuona kule Malindi, tunafanya 6 times 4 billion times 3.
La msingi ni kuwa watu ikiwezekana bunge pitishwe wanyongwe na wanyongwe publicly, watu waone kuwa hawa ndio wanaua umma, hawa ndio wanaleta shida.
Muuzaji wa madawa kulevya ukimwacha kwa bondi ya 10,000, milioni 10, hii ni pesa ameweka katika mfuko wa juu wa shati.
Last year, the first Kenyan, Bhang Akasha, son of Abdallah Akasha, who built one of the biggest drug trafficking operations in East Africa, was sentenced on drug trafficking charges in New York. The Akashas were arrested in Kenya in November 2014. The charges against them included bribing Kenyan officials in an attempt to avoid extradition. There were reports of influential underhands, powerful people, who wanted to prevent the case from coming to trial in a Kenyan court despite overwhelming evidence against the Akashas. And now there are concerns that there are forces out to scuttle this bill.
Someone who is a drug dealer having a stiffer penalty, if you're against that, then you have to explain why you're against that, isn't it? And maybe highlight the person who is going to be against this. And not only that, highlight those people as well who don't come to Parliament.
The current laws have seen some of those running drug empires getting a fine of just 1 million shillings or even less. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Mombasa.